Hey guys, welcome back to Hyrule Park, where I am building a theme park based on The Legend of Zelda and Planet Coaster 2. This is episode 7, and we are back in Goron City, of course, this time to finally build a coaster and another ride in the park for that matter. I'm sure some of our guests will probably appreciate that. I've said it before, but yeah, I'm a noob when it comes to building and designing coasters. Again, I play the game more for like the theming aspect. But I do enjoy building coasters, as unrealistic as they tend to end up for me. But yeah, I actually think I did a decent job with this layout though. Going with the mine coaster, a wooden coaster, I think really sort of simplified the process for me. I didn't have to worry about any crazy inversions, any technical like launches or anything like that. And honestly, I think this is probably where I should have started from the jump with my first coasters in the game. And really took the time to learn the tool that way before trying to do anything too ambitious, and the tool being like the coaster track building, by the way, and really just learning coaster mechanics in general. But I tend to just jump right in and go all out when I start anything in life, so maybe lesson learned, I suppose. We'll see. Now, as I've been trying to learn about coasters more and more as I play this game, and watching other videos and whatnot of other builders and creators in this community, I realized that multiple lift hills probably isn't the most interesting coaster layout. But with this one, I wanted an immediate lift to elevate up Death Mountain, but then I also wanted an opportunity for like a drop and a helix down into Death Mountain as well, because I have some ideas for theming around the Ocarina of Time Goron City. You know, like that room in Death Mountain that has like the 3 levels. There's like this little Goron rolling around like a madman. You have to bomb him to stop him to get into Darunia's room. At least I think that's the end goal with bombing that little dude. Well, I'm wanting to theme up that helix session as sort of an ode to that room in the game. We'll see in the next episode if I have enough room to even do that, or even if the speed of the coaster allows for any in-depth theming in that way. But I at least want the environment to give off that vibe, and if people catch Easter eggs along the way, that's icing on the cake, I suppose. The last bit of the track into the breaks, coming back into the station, I think maybe a little sudden. That's been kind of a common theme with any coaster I've built so far in this game. I can't seem to properly break the ride coming into the track cleanly, so I might have to do some tweaking before it's officially done in the next couple episodes. But for now, the stats work after doing the test runs, and you know, I got all the G data and whatnot to be within the range it should be to be realistic. So I'll take it for now. And then here's a quick little test run POV with obviously no theming at this point, just to get a feel for the layout. I think maybe it's a bit of a quick ride, but I looked up the average runtime of a mine type coaster in real life just to see how off I was with my build, and actually it was right in the average range that I saw in my quick little Google search of like 2.5 minutes or so. But yeah, this ride will obviously take on a completely different look with the POV after the next episode, where we'll start on the on-ride theming. For the queue, I was really wanting to incorporate like the Goron City feel, obviously, where you're weaving in and out of Goron houses or Goron shops. So I had this idea of creating like a Goron-esque cliff dwelling so that the queue can do just that and interact with the structures and whatnot. Another thing I've typically struggled with in this game so far is building queues that actually, you know, like make sense and are compact and kind of neat and clean. That Temple of Time ride that I built a couple episodes ago, that one sort of had a larger footprint than I really wanted to for that queue, or that it probably should have had. But I think I end up keeping this one pretty compact in the end, and it's definitely interactive with the terrain, so I'm fairly happy with the queue. And just like my last episode where we started Goron City, I went through a pretty big transformation of this ride entrance, sort of the queue-like facade that I'm building here. The first version I just was not happy with, and honestly, like I kind of started doubting my entire park as a project because of how unhappy I was with the first iteration of this. Like I alluded to earlier, I'm sort of an all or nothing with this type of thing, so but yeah, I took another step back and thought I can either leave this version that I'm not at all proud of, or I can give it another go, so I did that. I ended up deleting a ton of original footage that shows that first iteration, deleted the build altogether, and started over from the ground up. So really I only kept the queue line that I had originally built because I did still like that, and I wanted to go with that idea of the line weaving up in and around the entrance to a Death Mountain dwelling, or maybe like a mine or something along those lines. So I did keep that. But yeah, the first iteration was just more like boxy. It was sort of kind of cookie cutter in terms of the buildings themselves. I opted for the curved look in this new go at it. The same look I've been going with the other area of Goron City to keep things consistent. Then the other issue I was having at first was just like the clutter I was creating with some of the rock work that I was trying to utilize in that first version. I still struggled with some of that throughout the second iteration, and up until the very end I really was moving boulders around, deleting some, resizing them to make it not seem as messy as I had originally built it. I obviously want it to look natural, but I feel like there's a difference between like a natural look and just throwing stuff together, you know what I mean? And I imagine this process is almost, now that I'm thinking about it, is like a artist, like an illustrator, or any artist for that matter. I am definitely not identifying myself as an artist in any way. I most certainly am not that. I build Zelda things in Planet Coaster 2, nothing more. But I imagine that's how an illustrator would work. Like you draw the rough lines of the subject you're drawing and then work the details in from there. So I guess now that I'm sort of talking it out, it's kind of that process within this game too, at least the way I've gone about it these last couple builds, which I guess is a more constructive way for me to look at it, rather than how I was looking at it the other day as a complete failure that made me want not to play the game anymore. That's never good. I want to thank another commenter from the last episode. I appreciate the feedback on the ropes and whatnot, selling the vibe of Goron City. So thank you for that feedback. I totally agree that the Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild versions of Goron City were more appealing for something like this than the Ocarina versions. So definitely wanted to incorporate more of that throughout, especially after that feedback. So yeah, thanks, man. And again, this whole queue line is meant to be as if guests are entering into a Goron type dwelling or some sort of cliff type situation they built, whether it be a mine or just like some sort of settlement or area of the village or city. So I needed to make sure that these buildings had some walkways to give that feel as if it is lived in and interacted with, to create that immersion for the guests. So that, along with the ropes and stuff, was my goal there. had created this sort of wooden, I don't even know what you would call it, like I guess an archway, but it's not really an arch, but that's what I'll call it, I suppose. This archway I created in another Goron City build I did earlier this year, and I liked it. So it was directly inspired by a Tears of the Kingdom archway, or a series of archways from that game. So I wanted to have that in here too, to kind of go with that same cohesive, immersive design I was going for. With the actual ride sign, at first I went with the sort of just like the sign words, you know, that you can edit, and I tried to layer it that way. But you'll see at the end of the video, I don't show it any footage of it, but I end up scrapping that and going with the beveled look using the 3D lettering. The font doesn't really match what I'm going for with a Goron type font, but it's really all we have in terms of like letters that pop out at you rather than just like the flat letters. And that same commenter that I had shouted out earlier, he had this really cool idea of making it appear as if the lettering was carved like into the rock, using gaps in the rocks and whatnot in different color rocks and stuff. I totally want to do that, and I probably will only do that to tweak the Goron City sign, like the main entrance sign, rather than each ride sign and whatnot, because I feel as if that's going to be a lot of work. But I really like that idea. I think it's a cool thought. In theory, I think if I'm able to spend enough time on it, it'll end up looking pretty sweet. So yeah, I'm gonna try that out, see if it works. If it ends up in an episode, it ends up in an episode. If it doesn't, then I couldn't figure it out. But it is a really cool idea. going back to the Tears of the Kingdom vibes, when I was looking at screenshots of Goron City in that game to get like inspired with different elements to incorporate, I kept coming back to this image that I'll show here on screen that has like this twisted wiring or rope sort of deal coming down with lanterns on it. I couldn't really replicate that in any other way than using these electrical wire pieces. From a distance, I think it pulls off the look to an extent. Yeah, let me know. Is it too noticeable as electrical wires rather than what I referenced from Tears of the Kingdom? Does it look out of place in any way? Let me know what you think. Okay, last thing I'll discuss here with this part 1 of the coaster build is the ride exit. I wanted it to be as if you're exiting the mines of Death Mountain, and I also wanted it to double as like the initial mine tunnel at the start of the coaster too, since you know the exit path feeds underneath that initial tire drive track. So anyways, I really wanted to create a dark environment to depict that, which is why I chose to use these metal alloy pieces, hoping that it would make it darker and then layer the boulders and rockwork on top of that and make it look more natural, obviously. But it turns out that trick did not work for me, and in order to create the dark look, I would have to switch to nighttime. So that's a bummer. I'm pretty certain it's because I have like, you know, pretty mid graphics card and don't have access to the global illumination settings. So yeah, like I said, sort of a bummer, but it is what it is. The metal alloy pieces did come in handy though, and I might start doing this more going forward because it really just helped me stay grounded in where I should place rocks to create the cavernous look I was going for, and not just go overboard and keep it more clean. As I mentioned before, when I just kind of start placing rocks, it gets a little messy, so this kind of helped keep me in line there. And I guess it's sort of the same Illustrator method I was referring to earlier, so another one of those examples. All right, I will stop my yapping here and let the video play out. If you like this build and want to see how the actual on-ride experience ends up, go ahead and subscribe. I'm currently working on that part now in real time, so hoping to have that out pretty soon in the next week or so. Yeah, if you like this and you're liking the series so far, please leave a like and let me know that you did. And all that YouTube mumbo jumbo. Appreciate you if you've made it this far in the video. Yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.